I believe the Russian conduct in Syria, allied with that of Assad's discredited regime, will, if they do not change course, provide a tragic example of the perils of forfeiting legitimacy. In defining as a terrorist anyone who opposes a brutal regime, they alienate precisely that group that has to be on side if the extremists are to be defeated.
Saudi Arabia executed 47 prisoners convicted of terrorism charges on Saturday, including a Shiite cleric who was a central figure in 2011's Arab Spring-inspired protest in the kingdom.
During the Arab Spring, Nimr al-Nimr supported demonstrations in Saudi Arabia and neighbouring Bahrain. But in 2012, he was shot as the security forces arrested him. As news broke of the cleric's execution, the protests had begun in his home region of Qatif in eastern Saudi Arabia. The cleric's supporters say he was a peaceful reformist who espoused non-violence. A controversial visit in 2014 by Prince Charles illustrated the complexity of Britain's relationship with Saudi Arabia, a business partner and strategic ally. Demonstrators outside the Saudi embassy in London say David Cameron should have done more to wield influence over his Gulf ally.
Imagine, now someone coming and arresting the person speaking behind me and then sentencing him to death. Imagine the uproar we'll have in this country. Why is it okay to happen in Saudi Arabia?
Pictures have emerged which appear to show the Saudi security forces moving into protest areas. International criticism will likely fall on the deaf ears of a regime which simply doesn't tolerate dissent.
Now, you've been asked to intercede with the Saudis over the 17-year-old boy who was arrested when he was 14 and who faces execution and crucifixion. Have you?
Well, we have raised this as a government, yes.
Have you personally?
No, the Foreign Secretary has raised this, our embassy has raised this, we raised this in the proper way. I'll look to see if there's an opportunity for me to raise it as well. But we oppose the death penalty anywhere and everywhere, and we make that clear in all our international contacts.
Well, but that's curious, because we in November did a deal with the Saudis that we would back them joining the Human Rights Council of the United Nations, providing they backed us. Now, this sounds a bit squalid for one of the most human rights abusing regimes on earth.
Well, Saudi Arabia is a member of the United Nations, but we completely disagree with them.
Well, why did you want them inside the human rights?
Well, we completely disagree with them about the punishment routines, about the death penalty, about those issues.
Well, why did we do this deal then? I mean, they're not the right sort of people to be doing any sort of a deal on human rights.
Well, we totally oppose their record in that area.
Why did we do it?
Well, I say we totally oppose their record.
No, but why did we do it?
Well, I've answered the question.
Well, that isn't an answer, is it? I mean, we had done a horrid deal. It was very well exposed in the Financial Times.
We have a relationship with Saudi Arabia, and if you want to know why, I'll tell you why. It's because we receive from them important intelligence and security information that keep us safe.
Connectivity that is at the heart of globalization can be exploited by states with hostile intent to further their aims deniably. They do this through means as varied as cyber attacks, propaganda, or subversion of democratic process. The risks at stake are profound and represent a fundamental threat to our sovereignty. They should be a concern to all of those who share democratic values.